whenever you look at it. What did we do in the previous one? We imported sales data. It comes from a CSV file. And based on that CSV file, we have created a new column, and that's called total profit, and that is just a multiplication of the quantity and the price. Quantity and the price. So multiply that by each other, and then we have the total profit of that sale ID. And then we had the sales data, the sales date, sorry. And the sales date is just a date format. But I want the month number and the month year to have a little bit more control over the filters and over the data that we want to collect. And that's mainly because my approach is slightly different than the pivot table approach. Pivot table approach is all hard-coded, and you have very limited control over what you have and what you don't have. So I'm going to do it slightly different. So we looked at the yearly data. Yearly data is interesting to see, surely. But we didn't saw anything that was popping out like insights that the strategist team want to use to increase their profits. There was nothing particularly saying like, this is a month that we lost a lot of money or compared to another month. So there are dips and peaks and dips, which is normal in data. So yeah, you have a range of the data in between, right? So yeah, we went into the regions to see if there's anything else popping out of the data that was really highlighting. And we first of all saw that the North region has a 5% less profit than the year before, than 2022, 2023 and 2022. So that's something that is concerning. Same as the East. The East has a kind of a similar dip, but they're still making more than the North does at this moment in time. So we want to look into the North. Why the North is lacking behind in terms of sales. So that will be our next step to really dive into what is happening with the North. So that's what we're going to do now. So here we go. Let's create a new sheet and let's call it region plus themes. I want to see if there's a specific theme dipping or a specific theme that has some problems with the sales in that area. So yeah, let's do it this way. I want a filter that is showing all the themes. So filter, we go to data and we select the data validation, and then we select a list, and in the source we press the arrow up to be able to select the data that we want. And let's say we want this one. So we want the sales data themes K column, so that's the theme column. This caveat to this way is that the first header is incorporated and the last empty one is incorporated. On the other hand, we can see it this way. Now I do it wrong because I actually want the region. So we do the same thing, but then with a different data validation. We removed this one. Let's say we want actually I. Sales teams, that doesn't work that smooth, but let's do the region. Because I want to select the region, not so much the team, because I don't know which team is causing the problem. So I want to dive down by region so that I can look at the different regions, but the team stays available for me. So I want all the teams. So we go for the unique function again. And in the unique function, I want the sales data with teams, and I want the team name. So we have team beta, alpha, delta, and gamma. It's not sorted, not organized alphabetically. I do like that, but that's totally up to you if you want to use a sorting as well. I do like sortings. So from there, yeah, what I first want to do, I want to see the total profit, because why not? We have the data, we can see what the total profit is over this whole data set, so that we have a clear idea of what is happening with the data. We can do calculations against the total profit to see what the change is, right? So let's do that. I want the SUMIFS. So we have multiple ifs what we want to get. We want the team if, and we want the region if. So we have two criteria that we want to calculate our total profit out. For first, we need to start with the total profit. So let's select that, the total profit. And then the criteria range 1, let's say that the criteria range is the team. And the criteria is A1, or A5, sorry. But I want to have it a little bit more hard-coded that it's always looking at the column A. So I pressed 3 times on the F4 button on Windows, so to make it hard-coded or stuck, locked in on the column. But the row is not locked in. The next criteria is the region. So we go to the sales data with teams. Let's go to the region. And the region is always B2. So we can press F4 once, and then we have a login on the column and a login on the row. So you see the $ before B and the $ before the 2. And that means that it's completely locked in there. So everything is locked. So press enter and we get this number. Let's make that a nice formatting, and we can put it down below. So in the north, Team Alpha, Team Beta, Team Delta, Team Gamma has created this. We can see straight away that Team Alpha is making the most profit, but it's not so far away from each other. Let's do 2022 and 2023 again, and let's make the profit 22 and profit 23. So we need more criteria. So we need a criteria for the team, we need a criteria for the north, for the region, and a criteria for the year now. So SUMIFS, we start as always with the total profit, but then we want the sales data with teams as the team criteria. That's the first one, and we do this team again 3 times on F4 to log in the column A and not the row. Then we want the criteria range number 2, and that goes about the region, and that's always B2. So we press F4 to lock that in completely, and then we have the last one, that's the year. So sales data with teams on year, and let's say that's C3. We lock that in completely. We can also lock that in on the row, so it's always row 3, but not always column 3. So if we drag it to the right, it selects D, but it stays in 3. So here we have it. This is the data of 22, and we go to the right, and there is an error. Somewhere I made a mistake. Because there's no data selected. So A5, that's there. It also changed the total profit, so I was not aware of that. Sales data total profit. Yeah, in essence, it didn't work at all what I wanted to do. I wanted to just drag it to the right so that some parts on the right, but I wasn't aware that also the data columns are changing with that as well. Did not know that. No harm done. We can just completely remove it. Let's start from scratch, right? SUMIFS, because to fix that all on the columns just takes more time. So the sum range, sales data with teams, we want the total profit. Criteria is this team, and that's 3 times F4. The criteria range, number 2, that is sales data with teams. Let's get the region, and let's get the region on the north there, and then sales data with teams for the year, and that's the last one. On this one, let's D3, F4, there we go. So this is, pardon, this is all data for the north, right? So we can see very quickly which team struggles more in the north. But they're all quite equal, right? So they are equally bad, to say it very hard. There's no team that says we do it better than the others. So let's create, let's create an bar chart out of this one, just to have a more visual. And this gives a nicer, clear view about what's happening. So Team Alpha is definitely struggling year over year, compared to 2022, I have to say. Let's see what the difference in percentage. So we take the last year, we take away the data of the year before, and we divide it by that. So we can see clearly what's happening. So Team A is 16% less. So we came out of the regions. Yearly we saw that there was no big difference, right? Then we went to the regions and we saw that the north is struggling, 5% less profit than the year before. So we look into the north and we see straight away that the Team Alpha has a very large drop in profit, 16% compared to the last year. Now, I made this a little bit more dynamic because we also saw that the east is struggling a little bit. So we can easily change this to the east. And we see that there's actually 2 teams dropping quite significant with more than 10%, but they're all still quite in the same region-ish. So the north is for me still more pressing to dive into further what is happening on Team Alpha, right? So Team Alpha is a little bit of a bottleneck there. So we make this nice again, right? So we try to make it similar to what this one is. In your branding and in your business, you have a certain set of colors that you can use and cannot use most of the time. So for me, it's a little bit of a free going, but let's do it this way. We go to I do right click and then I go for the format data series so that the data series formatting panel opens up. I can change the cap width, I can change quite a lot of things, but what I'm interested in here is the solid fill, and to make that gray. That seems like a good gray. For this one as well, I want a solid fill, but I want a little bit of a darker gray so that contrast wise it still pops. Profit 23 is a darker color than Profit 22, so because that's the latest profits. But yeah, of course we have here the big contrast one again. So let's do Team Alpha, solid fill, and let's make that orange again. So why do I do the same color? That's a trick in data analytics and data storytelling. You use the same color to highlight certain things. So every time you show a chart and you see that this is a problem area, every time you get a new chart, you see straight away, okay, there's that same color again. That's association with a problem area. Your eyes are drawn straight away to it. And CEO minds are going straight away with what's going on there. Why is that so low? Why is that compared to Profit 22 a drop of 16%? Talking about the drop of 16%, let's draw that in there as well. Let's get the numbers again, because that is quite impressive as well, isn't it? So yeah, the add data labels, let's do that. Did I have them all? I had only that one, so that's perfectly fine. I can remove this one, I can remove that one, and I can remove that one. So I only have this one left. So I want to format that one. I want the values from text again. So if I select values from text, from cells, sorry, I see this data label range. I press that one, and I go with the 16. So the whole column E, so to say. So there we have it. It populates on all of them. That's totally fine. There's no problem with that. We can inside the end. And what we can do here, to make it a little bit more popping and to not draw the interest to team beta, delta, and gamma, because those are quite okay. 1% below or over, it's not a big deal, but team alpha really shows a clear problem there. So what you can do, if you have them selected, we can select the same gray tone what we have. So in essence, we still have the data label, but because it's the same color, we can't see it at the moment. What we can do here is this one, that one we want to see. So let's make that white and bold, and let's make that a little bit bigger so that it is straight away compelling to the audience with 16% less. That is a lot. In the previous one, in the region, we had a little bit darker gray on this one, right? But let's go with the shape around Team Alpha. So Team Alpha is, in this scenario, again, the one that we want to highlight. So here you have it, Team Alpha. That's the region and team. Similar approach to what we did previously in the other example. Again, this is the same type of formulas that we use to dive deeper into the problem. So we now have Team Alpha as one of the big problems. So 16% less profit made on Team Alpha. Right, so what this was quite large, this was 32. Let's make that the same, because we want consistency and we want that bold as well, and we want the black. So let's move this one a little bit lower so that it's below. It's not extremely black, is it? Let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. So there's some border around the 22, but yeah, so it's pretty much similar. We can tidy it up a little bit when we are ready to present this and ready to put it in the presentation. But here we go. One step further into the analysis. Why is the sales data in the north dropping with 5%? We found out a little bit more about this data. Team Alpha is struggling somehow. What is happening in Team Alpha? We're going to find out in the next one. Thank you so much all. If you want and if you like, leave a like and comment. The comment if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions, feel free. I'm open for feedback anyways. But yeah, subscribe, like, and comment because I want to learn from you guys as well. Thank you so much and enjoy your day. I am the Data Rockstar.